Italian Prime Minister Georgia Meloni is set to visit China next week to bolster bilateral relations following Italy's departure from the Belt and Road Initiative. This visit aims to stabilize and normalize ties between Italy and China, with a focus on strengthening economic cooperation and exploring new avenues for collaboration, particularly in key sectors like automotive, green technology, and pharmaceuticals. Italy's exit from the Belt and Road Initiative was significantly influenced by pressure from the US and the EU, reflecting broader geopolitical shifts and strategic re-evaluations. Italy's decision to join the Belt and Road Initiative in 2019, under Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, was initially motivated by the promise of increased investment and enhanced export opportunities to China. The Memorandum of Understanding signed with China was seen as a means to attract Chinese investment and expand Italy's access to Chinese markets. However, the economic benefits did not meet expectations. While Italy's exports to China increased from €14.5 billion to €18.5 billion between 2019 and 2022, Chinese exports to Italy surged much more significantly from €33.5 billion to €5.9 billion, exacerbating Italy's trade deficit. The decision to exit the Belt and Road Initiative aligns with broader Western concerns over China's growing influence. The US and EU have been increasingly wary of China's global economic ambitions, particularly through initiatives like the Belt and Road, which many Western policymakers view as a tool for expanding Beijing's geopolitical influence and creating economic dependencies. As a NATO and G7 member, Italy faced considerable pressure from its Western allies to distance itself from the Belt and Road Initiative, which intensified amid worsening US-China and EU-China relations. The upcoming visit is seen as a crucial step in rebalancing Italy-China relations and ensuring continued economic collaboration despite the geopolitical shifts and Italy's presidency of the G7 in 2024. This visit can be seen as part of Italy's broader strategy to strengthen its international relations and economic standing ahead of taking on this influential role. Meloni's approach aligns with the G7's focus on de-risking from China rather than complete economic decoupling, seeking a balanced and strategic partnership. Discussions during Meloni's visit are expected to cover potential Chinese investments in Italy, including plans by Chinese car manufacturers like Dongfeng Motor to set up production facilities in Italy, leveraging its automotive expertise to serve the European market. Additionally, Meloni aims to negotiate intellectual property agreements and cooperation among small and medium-sized enterprises. In the broader context of BRICS, Meloni's visit underscores Italy's nuanced approach towards major global economies. While Italy is not a BRICS member, maintaining robust trade relations with China outside the Belt and Road framework highlights Italy's intent to balance its strategic partnerships amidst the evolving geopolitical landscape. This visit could also be seen as Italy positioning itself to benefit from any shifts in global trade dynamics influenced by BRICS activities and China's significant role within the bloc. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about BRICS development, power and influence on the world. Let's continue now. Is Trump behind Italy's decision? With Donald Trump leading in US election polls, the EU faces significant strategic decisions regarding its relationship with the two largest global economies. Trump has proposed imposing a 60% tariff on all Chinese goods if re-elected, alongside potential tariffs on EU products. This could escalate trade tensions, presenting both challenges and opportunities for the EU and China. Trump's previous tariffs had mixed outcomes. While they benefited some American workers in specific industries like steel and washing machines, they also increased costs for American consumers and businesses, with the tariffs largely paid by US households and firms rather than foreign exporters. The tariffs did not significantly improve national security or lead to better trade agreements, as seen with the limited outcomes of the USMCA and the Phase 1 China deal. A potential second Trump presidency could also strain US-EU relations further. Trump's America First agenda might lead to punitive trade measures against the EU, increasing economic pressure on the bloc. The EU has already started planning for such scenarios, including possible retaliatory trade measures. This situation opens a window for China to restore its ties with Europe. With the US focusing on a more unilateral approach towards China, the EU might find it strategically beneficial to position itself as a buffer between Beijing and Washington, potentially strengthening its economic and political leverage. However, this will require navigating the complexities of increased US demands for alignment on China and potential shifts in military commitments, especially concerning NATO and the Indo-Pacific region. Italian Prime Minister Georgia Meloni's upcoming visit to China is particularly significant in this context. It follows Italy's withdrawal from the Belt and Road Initiative, a move promised to President Biden. Meloni's visit aims to stabilize and strengthen Italy-China relations through strategic partnerships in various sectors, including automotive and green technology markets. This diplomatic effort underscores Italy's intent to maintain robust economic ties with China despite the geopolitical shifts. Italy's relationship with China has a historical perspective. China and Italy have a long history of trade that dates back to ancient times, particularly through the Silk Road. The Venetian merchant Marco Polo's travels to China in the 13th century are one of the earliest and most famous accounts of the interaction between the two regions. His travels significantly influenced European perceptions of Asia and opened up new opportunities for trade. During the early 20th century, trade between China and Italy was limited due to political instability and global conflicts. The establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949 and Italy's subsequent diplomatic recognition of China in 1970 marked the beginning of more formalized trade relations. The 1980s and 1990s saw a significant expansion in China. Italy trade as China began to open its economy under Deng Xiaoping's policies. Italian businesses started to explore opportunities in the Chinese market. The bilateral trade volume increased as Italy exported machinery, textiles, and fashion goods to China, while importing electronics, textiles, and consumer goods. The early 2000s marked a period of rapid growth in trade between the two countries. Italy's exports to China grew from 2.5 billion euros in 2000 to 9.5 billion euros in 2010. During this period, Italy became one of the top European suppliers of luxury goods, machinery, and automotive products to China. By 2011, China had become Italy's second-largest trading partner in Asia, and bilateral trade had reached approximately 42 billion euros. Italian luxury brands such as Gucci, Prada, and Ferrari became highly sought after in the Chinese market. In 2019, Italy became the first G7 country to join China's Belt and Road Initiative, aiming to enhance trade and investment. Despite initial optimism, the Belt and Road Initiative did not deliver the expected economic benefits. Italy's trade deficit with China continued to grow, with imports increasing significantly faster than exports. From 2019 to 2022, China's exports to Italy grew by 51%, while Italy's exports to China increased by only 26%. This imbalance, coupled with political pressure from the US and the EU, led Italy to withdraw from the Belt and Road Initiative in 2023. Despite Italy's exit from the Belt and Road Initiative, trade between China and Italy remains robust. In the first 5 months of 2023, Italian exports to China increased by 58%, demonstrating the potential for continued economic engagement outside the Belt and Road framework. Italy's new policy about the Global South reflects Giorgia Meloni's broader strategy of strengthening Italy's international presence and addressing critical issues like migration and energy security. One of Meloni's key initiatives is the Mattei Plan for Africa, which allocates 5.5 billion euros in loans and grants for development projects across the continent. This plan focuses on 5 main policy areas: education and training, agriculture, health, water, and energy. The goal is to spur economic growth in Africa, thereby addressing some of the root causes of migration to Europe. By doing so, Meloni aims to position Italy as a significant player in African development and as an energy hub for Europe. Meloni's foreign policy also emphasizes Italy's role in the Mediterranean region. Since taking office, she has engaged in diplomatic missions to several North African countries, including Algeria, Libya, Tunisia, and Egypt, to strengthen bilateral ties and reduce Italy's reliance on Russian energy. This Mediterranean pivot is part of her broader strategy to enhance Italy's influence in the region and to address the challenges of irregular migration proactively. Furthermore, under Italy's G7 presidency, Meloni has been working to rebuild relationships with the Global South. This includes prioritizing development and cooperation projects, especially in Africa, and aligning Italy's foreign policy with broader G7 goals. The G7 summit, hosted by Italy, highlighted these efforts with discussions on development cooperation and tackling global challenges collectively. What are your thoughts on Italy's decision to leave the Belt and Road Initiative? Do you think Georgia Meloni's visit to China will successfully strengthen Italy-China relations? How do you believe Italy's exit from the Belt and Road Initiative will impact its economy? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally BRICS is developing and growing its influence over the world. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.